Welcome to another week at the Ktech, and we've started pruning the olive trees.
Yeah, and thanks to the lovely people from Ktech, we've got a piece of kit that has taken us from amateur to pro.
Complete game changer, and we'll tell you more about it later on in the video.
But what we can say is we're now a couple of days into our olive pruning. It's given us a chance to find our rhythm, work out which jobs suit us best, how we can go about our olive grove in the smoothest possible way, taking care of our 555 olive trees.
So this tree is a perfect example of one that needs pruning. We don't know how long ago they were pruned in the orchard. I only did a little bit last year, but it could have been a couple of years since it's been pruned. So what you can see is it's really, really bushy on the inside. Really important to open up the centre of the olive tree so that the sun can get in and produce the olives. So what are some of the other reasons why we prune olive trees? Well, firstly, it's really good to shape the tree. So we want to try to get that really nice bowl effect on the olive trees. One of the main reasons why we do it though is to improve the fruit production, because we don't want the effort going into creating new branches. We want the effort to go into making olives. Also with fruit production, the trees don't produce on the first year of a new branch growth. It's the second year, successive years. So sometimes we need to give a tree a really hard prune, especially if it's got quite leggy with really, really long, tall branches. When should we prune olive trees? So traditionally, pruning starts after the frosts have finished. So that'll be February into March, and we want to get it all done before April. Some farmers do their pruning at the same time as doing their olive harvest. For us though, the emphasis is on getting the olives as quickly as possible and get them to the lagar before any disease can go through the olive grove. So we decided to keep to the traditional way of doing pruning and do our pruning in springtime. I've got my trusty shades with me. It's not for posing, it's because these things are particularly spiky and I want to protect my eyes. So these are safety glasses that are sunglasses as well. Right, so this one here is obviously dead, and we're gonna take that one out. Oh, so easy with this thing. Okay, and now these ones are almost like suckers, and can you see how in the middle of the tree there's absolutely no light inside? So I've got to trim it all down. And also these really, really long ones, they're only going to grow and get longer. So they either need trimming down at the top by pinching the middle out, or they need taking out completely. But for me, if they're growing on the inside, they're stopping the light on the inside anyway. Branches like this, can you see that they've got like a bit of a growth on them? That's called a canker, and I'm going to try to take out those as well. Some of the trees have got quite a lot on there and they still produce olives, but the idea is to try to get rid of it as much as possible. So now you can see I can actually stand in the middle of the tree, and the idea is that a bird would be able to fly through the centre of the tree, and that's how you know that you've got enough room for the sun to get in as well. So the lovely people at Ktech have partnered with us for our pruning season. They've sent us the Ktech KT940, this fantastic little battery powered pruning shears. It's lightweight but heavy duty. It really helps me because when I've been sawing all day, I get such a pain in my elbow, and I'm just not going to be able to have that all the time. But this is just so simple. It's lighter than any other 40mm shear in its class, with comparable cutting capacity, allowing for fatigue-free pruning throughout the day, and it's only 1,190 grams. The maximum cut it can make is 40mm smooth cuts just in one click. The cutting surface is really smooth and tree friendly. It also treats trees with respect, proper care and love.
What I love about the Ktech is that I can use the pole set. Allows me to get the branches up high, which I'd normally have to climb the tree for and stand on a ladder. And when we're using the big loppers, it means you have both of your hands on them. You've got nothing to stabilise yourself. So with the pole set and the Ktech pruner, got my feet on the ground, everything is much easier. But after a few days of pruning, I can tell you that we are absolutely over the moon with our Ktech KT940 with the pole set. And if you'd like one, please click the link in the description and use the code Alentejo and you can receive 15% off. In the olive grove, there are just one or two trees like this one where the growth at the top has gone weird, for want of a better word, and essentially what's happening, there's a small amount of growth and then it's dying back. This tree yielded no olives last year and it's looking quite decayed, it's looking quite dilapidated, other than we've got this one small shoot here which is looking quite healthy. It's one of the suckers that has come up from the base and is looking good. So Miranda and I have had quite a bit of discussion over what to do with trees like this, and we decided that we're going to take them down. So on this particular one, that means cutting it down here at the base, allowing just this sucker to take hold and take all the energy that's still within the tree and hopefully grow a brand new tree from that point. It'd be fantastic if we can get another sucker to come from this side as well. That'll give us two trees to work on, but if one doesn't come up, we've still got that one. Looking at the state of the tree, I just think that's the best decision, and we've got nothing to lose by doing it. Okay, so admittedly, A little bit of work to do on my technique with cutting it down, but it was only small, and I know at least I could get the job done. So, plenty of firewood gained for our tiny stove. Hopefully this sucker will now become a new tree over time. And we're not too worried about having done this because we've seen evidence of trees being cut down to the stump and then regrowing elsewhere in the olive grove. So in a few years' time, and if we're really lucky, maybe even later this year, we'll have some olives on this tree. With this tree, it's a slightly different circumstance. I think there's still some life left within it. It's just this one branch what I think is done. There's no growth in it whatsoever apart from down here. So I think we'll cut it here and see what develops from these suckers on the end. This last tree, I'm in two minds about what to do with it, to be honest. There's a little bit more growth in it than the one that we've just taken down. But there's definite signs of decay in it too. We've got a lovely sucker coming off here about halfway up. And the thoughts are that I've had today is just to basically take these two limbs off and then cut the tree here, allow this to encourage us to grow, and then hope that maybe two others max, come on the tree on the other side as well, and from there we'll get some new growth. Any further thoughts for you on that one?
No, I'm happy to be guided by you on this.
The thing is with the couple that you've seen us do, and this one as well, is that they're the only ones we can experiment on really, because all the other trees in the grove are healthy. So I think we go for it because I just want to see what happens mainly, see what the result is.
Yeah, good.
And again, it's another one of those ones where didn't really produce any olives last year, so I don't think anything will be lost from doing it either.
Yeah, give it a go.
All righty. I think we're asking a lot of our little chainsaw and my current skills as well, but it's job done, we've got it done, and that's what we wanted to do today.
So we've travelled about 200 kilometres today to the Santorum district to come tractor shopping. I'm going to show you round. What do you think? Do you think Paul will let me have the pink one? there's pink implements to go with the pink tractor.
Destroy everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's must be an expensive.
Yes,
machine.
yes. 100,000 euros.
Oh.
It's out.
That's many
120.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a serious.
That's
bit
a
of
serious machine. That's the only machine in Portugal. The only one. There is no machine like this in Portugal.
That was an interesting discussion, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's been well worth the drive. So informative, so friendly. It's really given us an insight into the capabilities of the tractor that we've looked at today, the Solis tractor, the implements that can come with it, how it could benefit us on the farm, factors to consider to make sure that we use the tractor and the implements appropriately and safely. But it's given us an insight onto how we can make life easier and more productive on the farm without necessarily breaking the bank.
Yeah.
Potentially.
And we're about 200 kilometres away from this dealer, but they would do delivery, they do maintenance and come and do all the servicing on your tractor. They do anything goes wrong, they'll drive out to you and come and fix everything. They'll do the matriculation so we can actually drive it on the road. It just seems really easy.
So the job or the task in hand for Miranda and I now is to go back and discuss all these points. The fact of the matter is that having an 8-acre olive farm and taking the olives away from the land in a wheelbarrow just isn't practically manageable long term. It was really exhausting, so we've got to have some form of machinery to do that. We do have to invest in the farm to make it productive, and I think probably buying a tractor or securing the services of a tractor is essential for us going forward, especially as we get a little bit older. In a few years' time, then it'll be even more necessary, and probably buying a tractor therefore will probably be something that we do sooner rather than later.
Well, I'll agree, babe, but we can have a tractor so long as I can have the pink one.
And, just to confirm, Ricard said the pink one wasn't available.
Oh! I call these backward daisies because their yellow leaves of the flower bend backwards, and then when the sun comes out they open out, whereas the daisies that I'm used to in the UK close up, so they would close up like this rather than bend backwards, so backwards daisies.
By the way, how do you think the pruning is going?
Oh, it's way faster than last year. It took me 3 days to do about a fifth of the olive grove, and I would say I'm probably about a third of the way through now.
Okay.
And it's only taken us 2 days.
What do you think speeded it up?
The Ktech.
Yeah. My task has been to collect together the cuttings that Miranda's created while she's been pruning. It's worked out quite well, having one of us do the pruning and the other do the collecting. I thought I'd probably be a bit slow and run behind Miranda, but it's been okay. I have the time to gather them all together and then lay them out in a pile ready for when Alvaro comes with his tractor and his wood chipper. He wanted us to put them quite near the entrance to the land because it's still quite soft, and his tractor is only 2-wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive, so it was easier for us to put them in a spot that was convenient for him. Okay.
The other reason why we decided to have one person collecting and one person doing the pruning was because there'll be fights over the Ktech. The Ktech's so fast getting through everything. If you're the other person that's working with a hand saw and a pruner, and the other one with Ktech is flying up through the trees, it's just soul destroying, really.
It is. Found a little handy trick for getting more into the wheelbarrow in one go.
See, this is where you're cleverer than me, because I didn't even think about this last year. I just had my branches falling all over the place. He's so clever.
It doesn't replace the need for us to get something mechanical to get around the farm. Don't get any ideas. But it does help the branches stop.
Poorly wheelbarrow in action.
It does stop the branches from falling out as we make our way over to where we keep the pile. The other thing I've been doing as we've been going through the orchard or the olive grove is collecting together the larger sized olive cuttings. On their own, they're not that big, let's be honest. They're about 2 centimetres in diameter on average. But our stove in the lounge is tiny. It really doesn't take a lot of wood to heat it up and then heat up the room. So on an individual basis, it might not look like we've got much, but you know, just this much together, that'll keep the fire going for an hour. So the effect of doing it many times over is that we'll end up with, you get a day's worth of firewood for the fire, then it becomes a week, then it becomes a month. Bearing in mind, given the way the weather's turned and it's gotten much warmer, we're probably only talking a 10-week period in the winter here where we need to have the fire going. And even though we've had it going virtually every evening, it still hasn't used that much wood. It's so efficient. So by the time we've gone around the entire orchard, we'll be fine for not just next winter, but the winter after too. Alvaro specifically requested that all the ends of the prunings, all the cuttings, face the same direction to make it easier to get them into the wood chipper. That's why we're having neat, tidy rows.